Hi, this is Jundo. Welcome to Tree Leaf. It's like the first day of spring here today. Just perfect. And that's my subject for today. Perfect Buddhas, perfect masters, or rather imperfect Buddhas, imperfect masters. You see, Lou Richmond had a wonderful article just a few days ago here on Shambhala Sunspace about finding a teacher. And I'd just like to add one little perspective to that. When you look for a teacher, look for someone who every once in a while, not all the time, every once in a while is an ass, makes a mistake, falls down. Because what you want to watch for is what happens then. How do they get up? And how often do they fall? You see, I want you to understand my point perfectly. If someone falls down too often, that's not good. If you find a guy who's making mistakes, acting human, losing his temper, his anger, getting drunk every day, maybe not so good for your teacher. If you find someone who falls too big, that's probably not good either. You don't want someone who kills someone or robs banks. But neither do you want a teacher who claims to be beyond all failings, always perfect, never breaking a precept. It's impossible. The precepts are aspirations. They're not laws. They're meant to be broken. Not too often, not too big. But human beings will fall down. Now, this practice is about life in this world, and you cannot get through this world, this imperfect world, without doing imperfect things. Sometimes you're going to trip, fall in the mud. Well, how do you rise up from that? How do you recover? Sometimes I compare this practice to one of balance, like a tightrope walker or a bicycle rider. It's not that they're never going to fall off the bike, never fall off the tightrope, but do they do it too often? Do they fall gracefully? And how do they come back? You don't want someone who's going to stay down. That's no good. And you don't want someone who's going to fall down too often. That's no good. You want someone who's going to come back with a little grace, recover their balance, pick up from there, reflecting on their mistake, apologizing for the damage done. But making mistakes we will. Now there are many different Buddhists here at Shambhala Sun. I'm going to just say something from the perspective of one person. I look at the images we have of perfect Buddhas and perfect Bodhisattvas as an aspiration. I hope many people get there maybe after many lives. But for us in this world, this practice of beauty is the perfect living in the imperfect world, falling down knowing that, in a sense, there's no place to fall, but fall we will. There have been many scandals in Zen centers. Fortunately, I've not been involved in any big ones. My fallings down tend to be small ones. There have been incidents of violence. There have been sex scandals. My joke is that one reason, besides the precepts, that I'm not involved in a sex scandal is my wife has a black belt in karate. She'd kill me. But also, I wouldn't feel right. But I excuse a teacher who maybe slept with someone. It's sex. It's not the end of the world. There are situations where a teacher can abuse the teacher-student relationship, don't get me wrong. But if a teacher loses his temper once in a while, if a teacher has a drink too many, if a teacher sleeps with someone maybe he shouldn't, once in a while in life we do these things. I'm not talking about some of these people who abuse children. That's not even up for discussion. I'm talking someone who may have an affair, cheating on his wife. We forgive, even if it's a teacher. And what does he do from there? How does he go from there? I want to tell you just one story. Many years ago, I was invited to the Imperial Palace, where the emperor lives, here in Japan. Just me and two friends of mine, to see the Imperial Master of Archery, the emperor's personal archer. So we were sitting there, and this man came out in his full regalia, an ancient Chinese costume made of silk with a handmade bow and his handmade arrows. And he came out with such grace, as if doing a dance. And he took his bow, and he reached back with such precision and took the arrow and placed it in the bow. Now, you've heard of Zen in the art of archery, and it's not about hitting the target or not hitting the target. My story is a little different. He got up, pulled back, and I'm sure in a way that he rarely does, completely blew it. The bow went flying out of his hand. The arrow went in the other direction. The bow crashed to the floor with an ugly noise. We were shocked. But this is when I knew he was a true master. Because without batting an eye, as if he meant to do it all along, he got down with such grace, picked up his bow, took another arrow, strung it and let it fly, as if it was all part of what was meant to be. And I knew that we were truly watching a master. Shall we sit with that imperfectly?